الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. أما بعد, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala tells us in His glorious book in Surah Yunus in chapter 10 verse 3, and this verse is very important for Aqidah, for our creed. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يدبر الأمر ما من شفيع إلا من بعد إذنه ذلكم الله ربكم فاعبدوه أفلا تذكرون. Surely your Lord is Allah who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, then established Himself on the throne, conducting every affair. None can intercede except by His permission. That is Allah, your Lord, so worship Him alone. Will you not then be mindful? So knowing Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is at the heart of the faith, and it's the foundation of our faith. Because if you know who Allah is, you've achieved all the knowledge you need in this life. And if you don't know who Allah is, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, how many degrees, you don't know anything. But how do we know Allah? We cannot see Him. The senses cannot reach Him. The only way to know Him is through His words and through contemplating the universe, His creation. We see Allah in creation. When you look at beautiful things that Allah created, you see Allah the beautiful. So that's how we know Allah, through contemplation. And the verse starts with, do you contemplate the universe? Allah says He created heavens and earth. Heaven and earth in the Quran means the entire universe. Everything except Allah. Everything other than Allah is lumped into as-samawat wal-ard. Everything in creation. So have you contemplated the universe and its wonders? Because that's how you're going to know the power of Allah, the majesty of Allah, the wisdom, the creation, the competence. All of His beautiful names are embodied in this universe. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when He mentions 6 days, we shouldn't take that literally as 6 days. Because before earth was created, on earth the day is the revolution of the earth around itself. But before earth is there, when the universe was still new, what is one day? So we shouldn't take it literally as 6 days of our days. What is meant in the verse is it's done in stages. So we have to understand it as it was done in stages. It wasn't just created like that. And then the verse, it says, ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. Then established Himself on the throne. And Imam Malik radiallahu anhu said, the establishment is known, the how is an unknown, and asking about it is a bid'ah. Is an innovation, something you're not supposed to do. So you just take it as Allah istawa ala al-arsh. How, we don't know. But He controls everything. He is over everything. But the one piece that's important in this, one of the two pieces that's important in this verse, yudabbiru al-amr, conducting every affair. A sperm and an egg unite to create a little baby that grows into a human being that eats and drinks and thinks and moves around. Who designed this beautiful design? There is no human 2.0 and 3.0 and 3.1. It's only one design that Allah created it perfectly from Adam up until the end of time. Who created that? Allah, yudabbiru al-amr. He conducts all affairs. Some has all male children, some has all female children, some don't have any children. Allah, yudabbiru al-amr. He conducts all affairs. He conducts them with wisdom. He conducts them with knowing what is best for everyone, and that's what you get. One has a good job, one has a bad job. One has a good wife, one has a bad wife. One, has good health, one has bad health. Allah, yudabbiru al-amr. That's His wisdom. Who designed the earth to rotate around an inclined axis? If it rotated on a vertical axis, there will be no seasons. If it rotated like this, there'll be no life. Because one side will face the sun and the other one will never see the sun. So one would be 350 degrees, and the other one would be minus 200 and some degrees. There'll be no life. So who designed the whole earth rotation and and life, that everything that allows human life to exist on this? Allah, yudabbiru al-amr. Who moves the clouds? The clouds, if you have to move 10 gallons or 100 gallons of water, you need pumps, and they're noisy, and they take so much effort to pump it from one place to another. You have trillions of gallons floating in clouds, moving effortlessly and quietly. Who designed it? Who designed this beautiful cycle of rain, of evaporation and rain? Allah, yudabbiru al-amr. That's what we understand from the verse, yudabbiru al-amr. Every affair in existence, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala conducts it with power, with competence, with wisdom, to the best outcome of His creation. So the statement yudabbiru al-amr is very comprehensive, and we shouldn't just pass by it. I mean, we have to contemplate. When we read these beautiful verses that are so meaningful, we have to contemplate, that the universe, and contemplate creation, to see how Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala yudabbir al-amr, conducts all affairs to the best outcome. So when you believe firmly that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala disposes all affairs, that gives you calmness. That's why a believer with the correct aqidah, with the correct creed, is a happy, calm person. Doesn't matter if you have everything, if you're poor, you're rich, you have food, you don't have food. Is happy because he knows, he trusts in Allah, that Allah conducts all affairs. And if that's what Allah has conducted for me, then that's the best thing for me. And you just submit, and you are happy with what you have, no matter what it is. And you will surrender when you trust in Allah, and when you understand that Allah conducts every affair to the best outcome available. And then the second important piece in the verse, مَا مِن شَفِيعٍ إِلَّا مِن بَعْدِ إِذْنِهِ. None can intercede except by His permission. Now, shafi' comes from the word shafa'. Shafa' is pair. Is two things, two parties, two elements, any two things. So what the verse is saying, that there are no two things in Allah's dominion in the universe. No two things can interact, one thing can affect another, without Allah's without His permission and His leave. The knife cuts, but it doesn't cut except with Allah's permission. The fire burns, but with Allah's permission. That's why it burns everyone, but it did not burn Sayyidina Ibrahim, because out of its own has no power. It needs Allah's permission to do its function. A criminal can hurt others, but he cannot hurt whoever he wants. He hurts whoever Allah designed that hurt to be a lesson for him for the better outcome. If someone honors you and takes care of you and does you favors, that's min ba'di idhni, after Allah's permission. He allowed him to do that. And if somebody is hurting you and causing all kinds of troubles for you, min ba'di idhni, it's because Allah allowed him to do that. So when we understand this concept, that's what Tawheed teaches you. That nothing happens in this universe without Allah allowing it and permitting it. Nobody can do anything that Allah doesn't want to happen. What He wants to happen happens. What He doesn't want to happen does not happen. And the fact that it happened that Allah allowed it. And He has a wisdom behind it. We may know what that is, we may not know. But Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala yudabbiru al-amr, and He takes care of everything. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوهُ أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. That is your Lord. That's Allah. You want to ask who Allah is? That's who Allah is. يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ. He created everything. He conducts everything. So worship, and the verse says, that is Allah, your Lord. So worship Him alone. Will you not then be mindful? We have to worship Allah without association. And sometimes we may think that, oh, a mushrik is somebody who's somebody else on another planet. We all perform that in one level or another. Whenever you disobey Allah to please somebody else, that's shirk. That's taking partners. So there are levels. There are levels of it. So we have to be mindful of our actions, of our feelings, of our heart, how we act. Are we obeying Allah or are we going against His orders? If you're going against His orders, then you're really not worshiping Allah. Worship is not, you do the prayers, you do Psalm, you do Hajj. Those are acts of worship, but true worship of Allah is obedience. You believe in Him and you obey Him. That's worship. If you don't obey Him, then you're worshiping something else. You could be worshiping yourself, you could be worshiping money, you could be worshiping your wife, you could be worshiping something else. So the key of worshiping Allah is obedience. So there is only one entity in existence that's worthy of worship, and that's Allah. Because He created everything, and everything is in His control. So you go to Him, you don't go to anybody else. Everybody else is just as weak as you are and helpless. You go to the one who has the power, who has the solution. Disbelievers and hypocrites, they don't understand this, so they try to please everyone. They try to please several parties, and that's impossible. You cannot please everyone. Somebody's gonna, not be happy with you. So associating others with Allah is obeying someone and disobeying Allah, and that comes at a price. In Surah Ash-Shu'ara, in chapter 26, verse 213, Allah says, فَلَا تَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ فَتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُعَذَّبِينَ. So do not ever call upon any other God beside Allah, or you will be one of the punished. That's not just punished in the hereafter, that's punished in this life too. Because shirk and not understanding aqeedah and having tawheed and having the true monotheism, the belief in Allah that He wants us to have, if you don't have it, then you look in your life and you're going to have fear, you're going to have sadness, you're going to have stress, you're going to have confusion, you're going to have worries, depression, every other ailment that Allah uses to wake you up and bring you back to Him. When do people find Allah? When they get in trouble. I mean, that's the fact. And in the Quran, it gives the description of you're in the middle of the ocean, and if you ever seen any of those deadly catch, you see those waves that are 40, 50 feet. I mean, they're like mountains, and you're in the darkness out in the middle of the ocean, and you're about to die. You're about to drown. That's when people find Allah. So a believer does not wait until that moment to find who Allah is. You want to find Allah in moments when you are healthy, when you are happy, when you are stable. Before you actually need Him, you need to find out and realize who Allah is and have the correct creed. Otherwise, Allah will punish you. And this punishment, not for Allah to be vindictive, wal-iyadu billah, is to wake you up and bring you back to Him. So shirk comes with these ailments. When you get it out of your life, then happiness and calm comes back. So Tawheed is a very beautiful and calm state for a human being. That knowing that you only have one entity to please, and that is Allah Ta'ala. That's one entity that you obey. One entity that you do your best to be in His favor. When you understand that, you don't care about anybody else. You stand up and you say what is right, and you don't fear anyone, because they cannot do anything to you unless Allah permits it. And if you are with Allah, acting with full faith and full wisdom, Allah Ta'ala will protect you. But if you're gonna not have the right aqidah and you don't know who Allah is, you're bound to create many problems, and that is not a state that's appropriate for a believer. So obey Allah Ta'ala and have faith that He will not deliver you to your enemy. He will take care of you. He will protect you. He will guide you to what is best for you. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.